Good pump up music.
Are you pumped up with this music?
Let's go.
I'm pumped up with this music. Cool. Thanks for coming back to the final round coverage of the 2018 Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. Our coverage today is powered by Nick Productions. My name is Steve Rachan, here with David Hopkins, and who's on the card today, David?
Today we have Philo Brathwaite, Cale Leiviska for the third time. He is such a treat to film and to be around. MJ, Michael Johansen, and Crusher Calvin Heimburg. We have Cale and Philo and MJ sitting at 12 under par, and Calvin at 11. This is going to be a good race here.
Yeah, we're starting off on the daunting hole 1 here. 633 feet, have to throw a crushing drive over water into normally a headwind. And the problem here, if you end up short in the water, you go to a drop zone 550 away, and if you crush it too far, there is OB deep beyond the crest of this hill.
And on top of that, if you do come up short, you're most likely losing your disc there. And we see Cale throwing out. Looks like he got a good turn on it and a fade, and he should be in a good spot.
Philo definitely has the turn enough to get over the water, but this disc is stabling out quick.
Oh, and he does stay up, almost hits the spotter, gets the green flag. He looked a little disappointed walking off the tee, but I think where he's at there, he's going to be fine with it. And we have Mr. Make It Look Easy, Michael Johansen. Fist pump, turns around. Great shot.
Yeah, and these players are landing up on top of the crest of the hill, making their upshot a little bit easier than if they were to fight the uphill slope all the way down the hill.
Right you are. Calvin looks like he got a little too much turn, but it's a stable disc, and he crushed that.
Ooh, stays in bounds there. And Cale playing that uphill slope, putting the extra distance on it that he needed, and landing inside the circle.
There you go. Good way to start your first 2 shots here in the final round. And I have to admit, following this card, it was much different than the first 3 rounds. You could feel the tension a little bit. These players know they're there for business. They're there for money. Any one of these shots can be for, potentially thousands of dollars.
Yeah, great point there. The Ledgestone Insurance Open has always been such a lucrative event, with the top 25, 26 players earning over $1,000. And so our players here, starting in the 9th through 12th position, really want to make sure they stay in that 4-digit payout.
And Calvin doing that, hitting the birdie here on the first hole. He's going to be very happy, and gaining confidence on the first hole is so important, as does Philo hitting that birdie 3 as well.
Yeah, the birdie really isn't necessary in this hole. Walking away with a par is just fine, because you can take huge numbers after going out of bounds. But getting the birdie is putting you off on the right start. These players know, you know what, I only have 17 more holes to go. I've battled this exhausting course all weekend. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going is right, as I believe we had a star birdie on the first hole, which is great news.
That's impressive. It normally takes us about 11 holes to get a star birdie at this course. But after 1 hole, we see our top 3 players, Cale, Philo, and MJ at 13 under par, and Calvin just 1 stroke behind at 12 under par. What can you tell us about hole 2, Dave?
Hole 2, I said it before, I'll say it again, a 2-shot hole, first shot, placement shot, like many other holes here at this place. If you're throwing a backhand as a righty, you want it to keep turning a little to the right, minimal fade. Set yourself up for a nice look at the green on your second shot.
Yeah, it seems like our green is sloped left into OB water, just as our tee shot is facing towards OB water the entire way. Cale throwing that smooth, I'm guessing M4 shot, lands in an ideal position.
And Philo looking to match that. I'm guessing a rock of some sort here. I think it's his yellow DX rock maybe.
One of the better DX rock throwers in the game, that's for sure.
And he's in a pretty good spot there. He should have a look at getting up and down for a birdie. MJ looks like he wanted a little more turn on this. It faded, and he's nestled up next to that tree. Might be difficult to get up and down, but we know MJ, and we know he can do it.
Yeah, not only is he up against that tree, that's really going to cut off his angle into the green, where if you want to attack it, you have to get really aggressive putting OB in play. So I'm guessing MJ is just going to pitch around the corner, play for the 4, or completely prove me wrong, and come on, baby, stay in bounds.
He's still well outside circle 2, it looks like, so you may have been right in your prediction there. Maybe he was playing for a 4. Meanwhile, Philo throwing a good-looking turnover. Oh, a good tree there for Philo.
Solid tree direct, making sure, keeping them in bounds and putting them towards the circle's edge.
Look at how Cale just keeps that pose. Wonder if he does that on a good shot or a bad shot, but he was holding the pose, and he may be under the tree, but he may have a look at the birdie 3.
Yeah, definitely. And Calvin with the best drive of the group. Oh, takes an early kick.
Stays in bounds, though.
Yeah, stays in bounds, but outside circle 2 with really no look at the basket, so he's just going to pitch around the trees just like MJ is doing right now and put in for his 4.
Yeah, such a difficult green. If you don't access it on your second shot, I mean, essentially, just as you saw these two guys do, pitch it up under a tree and just settle for that par.
It's so difficult when you're staring at this from 300 feet away. It's like, okay, if I go in the more open to the left, I'm putting the OB water in play. If I go more right, I'm putting the trees and the OB path in play. And you really just have to have a perfect shot or an amazing outside the circle straddle around the tree putt.
He had to put a little Anheuser on it, and it fell left side chains. That's 2 birdies in a row for Philo, so he's heating up here. MJ taking that par, and I believe Calvin will be settling for a par as well.
And after a great start with 1 birdie and 3 pars on this hole and 4 birdies on the previous hole, we see that our competitors are moving up the leaderboard with Cale at 13 under par, Philo 14 under, MJ at 13, and Calvin at 12 under. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Some swirly vultures.
Moving on to hole 3, 260 feet. At this point in the tournament, all these players are thinking musket here. Little uphill, so plays maybe more like 290. Forehand route, backhand route, hyzer route as we see Garthy did in round 3. Looks like Philo's going straight at it.
Yeah, really just pick your poison, whatever route you feel most comfortable with, and ensure that you don't kick out of bounds, as the path on the entire left-hand side, an OB rope separating hole 2 and hole 3's fairway on the right-hand side, will be out of bounds.
Oh, and it looks as if Cale hits a pretty early tree there. Going to be looking to get up and down.
This hole making MJ feel at home, throwing through the woods, but ends up hitting a tree early. Shoot.
And Heimburg going with the backhand as well. He could throw very far, and it looks like he can throw very shorter and more accurate as well. Heimburg's got it all. He's no joke. It was very fun watching him play.
Yeah, he looked pretty surgical on the fairway there, but for such a tall guy, he's going to be very careful to not hit his head in the basket, picking that one up.
That's right, and I don't know if that was a full go, maybe if it was a misfire by Cale. You would think just outside circle 2 he would give it more of a bid, but...
Yeah, maybe just practicing that putting stroke afterwards, giving that body language that he did want to give it a better go. But Philo tapping in the birdie.
Gobble, gobble.
MJ having to clean up his par, and we haven't even gotten to Calvin's shot yet.
Looks like Cale...
So with a course that has so much OB, that's so difficult, probably one of the 3 toughest courses, top 3 toughest courses on the tour, we haven't seen a bogey yet.
Yeah, very surprising. I mean, all these players are, know it's game time. So playing to the best of their abilities.
However, with this course, after 3 holes, you go into one of the toughest stretches on the course, with holes 4, 5, 6, and 8. 4 of our next 5 holes being the top 4 most difficult holes on the course. So hole 4 here, David, what's it all about?
From the tee, it almost looks like you want to turn it over, but once you reach the crest of that hill, if you have any turn on that disc, 99 out of 100 times it's going out of bounds. So actually, whoa, it's weird. Philo's not taking the usual route here. Taking more off the right side gap. He doesn't look happy with that.
Yeah, I saw some leaves fluttering down. He must have just gotten knocked down early. Calvin going right up the gut. hoping to not turn it over out
throws
of bounds.
throws his hands up. He wasn't happy with that either. Let's see if Cale can thread the needle here.
And here's the route most players are going to be taking.
But he's got turn on that. As I was saying, you do not want turn on it. He's going to need... Oh, I think that was a good tree.
Definitely a good tree. That disc was cooking out of bounds, and fortunate kick there.
Definitely. Let's see if MJ can thread the needle here, but it doesn't look like it. He may be a little too far left.
He's calling for it to turn right. Disc wasn't listening. Seems to be in the woods line.
Here's a relatively... I thought it was going to be a safe pitch up from Calvin, but...
Yeah, you want to think after like throwing downhill, putting any anhyzer to go towards the pin might go out of bounds. Just scared him a little bit there.
And Philo... Looks like he threw it kind of right into the ground. Looked like a misfire from him. Let's... I'm going to guess that he's going to lay up that one. It looks like a at least 40-foot death putt from there. So he may have to settle for a 4. Who was that pitching out? I didn't catch that.
That was where MJ's drive landed. He wanted a little more turn off the drive, but it hyzered out into the tree line. But it looked like he managed to put himself in position here to give a look. Oh, what a putt.
Yeah, that's the definition of a death putt there, I guess you would say. 40 feet or so to the basket. Extremely fast green, and MJ says no problem.
Just like you're talking about there, Dave, Philo isn't risking the putt that early in the round. You can go past this death downslope, slide past, go into the rough, and instead of putting once, you can be putting 3 times instead. Calvin taking the bogey as well. You know, he picked up a birdie earlier in the round on that last hole, so he's not too upset, but he's hoping to get it going on the next hole here.
And we're going to see Philo clean up for his bogey after getting the turkey 3 birdies in a row on the first 3 holes, taking a bogey here. But I believe he may still be leading. Yep, Philo we have at 14 under par. Cale and MJ both 13 under par. And Calvin, one behind them, at 12 under par. We are moving on to the baseball hole. Steve, what is the baseball hole all about?
You've seen it before. You're seeing it again now. 476 over a baseball field. Have to hyzer all the way over the entire way. And players, you're either going for it or you're not. You're going for it, and if you go out of bounds, you go to a drop zone over 300 feet away. If you just play a little bit more to the right, you have a larger landing zone, shorter off the tee, like Cale's playing right now. Just land here, easy pitch up to the basket, take your 3, and that way you're ensuring you're not taking a bogey, if not worse.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd round covering Cale, and I believe he executed that shot all 3 rounds we saw him. So, game plans. We talked about it in previous coverage. If you don't have a game plan on a course like this, you are not going to survive.
Exactly. Every disc golf tournament needs a game plan, but when you're at a course this difficult, this OB-ridden, so many difficult holes that you have to face, you got to be methodical with your game plan.
Crusher Calvin Heimburg is going for it, and it looks good.
Oh, baby. He made that look so easy.
It almost looks effortless when he throws, and it just amazes me. I wish I looked like that when I threw.
One day, David.
MJ coming up a bit short. He also going for the par on this hole, not trying to attack it, as we've seen him do in previous rounds, and maybe fluffed that one a little bit. He left himself with more than a bit of a tester. It's a definite tester there.
I have faith in him, though. MJ is such a fantastic putter. You know he's going to run that with confidence and see what happens. Cale and Philo both able to get right next to the pin to ensure their 3.
Oh, and this elevated basket may have got to him. MJ sitting close to 40 feet there for his par. He's going to be taking a bogey there. And Calvin, great birdie.
Such a great 2, as this hole is playing 0.48 strokes over par, the second hardest hole on the course today.
We see Philo tapping in for his par, and MJ with that unfortunate bogey.
Yeah, and after 5 holes, we see our scores continually changing hole after hole, with Cale at 13 under par, Philo 14 under par, MJ back to 12 under par, but Calvin, 2 down for the round, now at 13 under par.
Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
All right, toughest hole on the course today. Hole 6, 897 feet. This hole has 2 pin placements, as we see our beautiful drone rolling up to it right now. We're going to be playing the pin to the left. David, what can you tell us about what our competitors are looking to do off the tee?
Off the tee, hyzer shot, upwards of 450. Make sure you land in the middle of the fairway. There is OB left. There is OB right if your disc flutters over there, which it may. I think Calvin stayed in bounds.
Yeah, Calvin definitely stayed in bounds there. Now, Cale's game plan all week on this hole is to just throw a more conservative hyzer off the tee, pitch around, and just go for the 4. And now, the rest of the competitors, they're throwing their drive, and they're really going to have to evaluate where they land and if it's worth going for the green for the birdie 3, or if they're just going to take the easier route and pitch, try to get their par 4.
Yeah, and like you said, playing the hardest hole, the pin position is right next to the out-of-bounds line. So if they are going for it, they have to be precise.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going for it and you end up short, you really give yourself no look for the scramble 4-putt. But if you end up flying past the pin out of bounds, it's a relatively drop-in par 4.
Yeah, and you just seen MJ just throwing it to the middle of the fairway. Same as Cale. Flirting with the OB line. Stays in bounds. That yellow stake there, I believe it's a 250 marker. So he's got about that, maybe a little less to the basket. Philo playing it well, just right in the middle as well. I think Calvin might go for this
Is
one.
Crusher Calvin going for it? That looks like a go for it.
He just needs it to stick.
Come on, baby. Stretch.
What a shot, Calvin.
Ooh. My heart was racing just watching that shot. I wonder how he felt.
Yeah, he's inside circle 1 there, and he's going to be very happy with that shot. Let's hope he can connect for that birdie 3 on this most difficult hole in the course. And we see Cale floating in a hyzer, no problem. Roll around the basket, hit the pole, and hopefully he doesn't hit his head.
Golf? Can MJ get closer?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not needed though. Philo sticking to the game plan, putting himself in the position to do the same as MJ and Cale. Ends up a little bit short, but still well in range to get the par.
Here's Calvin for that birdie 3. Nice putt. There you go, Calvin.
After Calvin takes the 3 on this hole, he's essentially taking over a stroke and a half on the field, as this hole is playing .64 strokes over par today.
And Philo putting in for his par, as will these other 2 competitors in Michael Johansen and Cale Leiviska.
And after completing holes 4, 5, and 6, our competitors have a little bit of sigh relief, because those are the 3 toughest holes on the course, so every hole they face from here on out will just be a little bit easier, but more in a relative sense, because really nothing's easy out here.
For sure, and the lone birdie goes to Mr. Crusher Calvin. Michael Joe, Philo, and Cale all taking pars on that one, and we are moving on to kind of a reliever hole here. Take a breath. Look right at the basket here, only 275 feet in front of you. Throw it straight, throw a forehand, a little flex, maybe even slight hyzer, flip to turn. Looks like Calvin's going with that forehand.
Yeah, definitely going with that flex sidearm. He hits a tree early, but fortunate enough to stay in bounds, as there is a whole creek line to the left-hand side. Cale's been between putter and M4 on this hole all week, and whatever he threw there puts him inside the circle.
Yeah, it worked.
It's got to be scary throwing a backhand off this tee with that tree right there to the left, just being in your head. Not really being in the way, but being in your head.
Yeah, definitely not in the way, but it's something to think about. They did push the tee pad back here a little bit, and they put that tree into play.
Ooh.
That's
hits
fine.
The tree, stayed inside the circle, though. All of our competitors, except Calvin, are going to have a look for the birdie. Can he get through this?
Yeah, that's a good scramble there.
There we go. Let's see if all the practice on the putting green is going to pay off.
Oh, you're still up, Calvin. Oh, and he takes the bogey 4. Well, he will be taking the bogey 4. That's unfortunate, as I'm guessing this is one of the easier holes on the course.
Yeah, and those are the 4 worst words they hear on the disc golf course. You are still up.
Here's Philo looking for a birdie. There you go, Philo. Nice putt.
California clean connection there. And Cale, after round one actually kicking a tree and going out of bounds, is able to birdie this for the rest of the tournament. That's got to feel good.
No doubt about it. And Calvin will be cleaning up that 4. Throws his arms up a little. Knows he wants both those shots back.
And after tapping in this bogey, he's going to take the very short walk right over the hole 8's fairway, looking at the 4th hardest hole on the course, and just going to have to shake that off and continue play.
Yep, we have Philo sitting atop the card at 15 under, Cale 14 under right behind him, and Michael Joe and Calvin sitting at 13 under par. This 793-foot par 4, Steve, tell us a little more about it.
Yeah, so committers are going to have to hit a gap off the tee and clear that creek, or you are out of bounds the entire way from tee to the creek. If you go out of bounds, you're playing from a drop zone that's roughly 600 feet away from the pin, which, if I first looked at it, would have said was impossible to get up and down. And on our coverage, 2 out of the 3 rounds, players have gotten up and down for the save.
Spoiler alert if you didn't watch our 3rd round coverage yet.
This is final round coverage. People like to watch things in order.
I sure hope so. That's 2 good shots by those 2 guys, and MJ looking to replicate that. And he walks away. He likes it.
There we go.
I'm going to guess we're going to see an absolute smash out of Calvin here.
Oh my lord, this has to keep flying through the tree. Oh,
yeah,
no, that's
good.
perfect.
He's way clear.
It's still going.
Yeah.
It went so far.
Cale looking for a shot at a birdie here. It looks good. Needs to get a little bit of fade on it.
Yeah, if you've seen this hole in the past, the basket is actually brought about 80 feet closer from where it used to be. However, there's still OB water on the left-hand side. So MJ, maybe he's a little bit out of position, saying, I'm just going to pitch up to the mouth, pitch up to the green, take the 4, take all the OB out of play.
Yeah, MJ's left with at least 50 feet, and like Steve said, wouldn't be surprised just playing for that 4. Philo looks like he may have turned that a little too much. He's going to be in the trees over there on the right.
Yeah, there's some trickery over there depending on where he landed. And Calvin, after that absolute smash, is...
Did he hit the pin? I don't know. He was very close. Might have hit one of the flags, but great looking shot. MJ, just as we suspected, just going for the par.
And that's the second time this round we've seen Philo lay up a death putt in this course. You got to wonder whether that's just his game plan for the beginning, or maybe he's just had some unfortunate experiences through the first 3 rounds.
May have been the case there. Cale, good looking putt for a birdie 3. Great birdie 3. I know this is one of the more difficult holes, so getting that feels really good.
100%. And Calvin getting the birdie as well. Rarely will you see 2 birdies on a card on this hole. Philo giving the mad props that Calvin deserves.
Philo tapping in his par, and MJ will do the same here. Let's check out the scores real quick and move on to the final hole of the front 9.
Yes, sir. After 8 holes, Cale Leiviska 3 down for the round at 15 under par, same as Philo. MJ 1 down for the round, 13 under par, and Calvin 3 down for the round, 14 under par. Final hole of the front 9, the start of a 4-hole stretch where 2s are finally possible at this course. 354-foot true island hole. Miss the island, go right to the drop zone at the front of the bridge, try to get in bounds from there.
Yeah, you're going to see these guys, Cale throwing more of a straight shot, maybe Heiser in a little early, needs to get in bounds, and he gets the green flag there, but a lot of Heisers is what you're going to see, just in case it does fade out, as you're seeing Calvin's here. There's a lot of room over there to fade out and still be in bounds and have a look.
Yeah, it looked like Calvin was just saying, I'm comfortable with the 3. I just got back-to-back birdies, so I am going to pitch up, make sure I'm in bounds, and just go for the 3 from there. Philo, on the other hand, says, I'm going to park this and show you how good of a DX rock thrower I am.
Ooh, this looks low out of MJ's hand.
No.
Ooh, it squeaks in bounds.
Did it squeak?
I think it did.
We got a squeaker?
We do indeed. Here's Calvin for the birdie 2. Oh, just over the basket there.
Yeah, a little bit of like a half go. He didn't want to full run and go out of bounds deep. And squeaker drive, but beautiful putt. Dead in the heart of the center of the chains. MJ with the birdie. Oh, we saw the same from Cale yesterday on this
Same
hole.
hole, right? Yeah, front cage.
Same spot, same hole. He's going to have to shake that off. He only has 9 holes left to go, and he's in prime position to get a good paycheck this weekend.
That's right. There's Calvin in for the par. And Cale making sure he does all his motions, even on the tap-ins.
Yeah, gives that firm putt. Just puts himself back in position to get his putting stroke on again. And after our front 9, we see Cale at 15 under par, Philo at 16 under par, MJ at 14 under par, as well as Kelvin at 14 under par. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for the back 9 coverage of the final round of the 2018 Ledgestone Insurance Open. Peace.